morning, people. It's your girl Minna. Welcome back to the channel, man. You already know what it is. Big up to everyone locked in on this very wonderful Thursday. You're probably thinking, why is this a very wonderful Thursday evening? Because it's daily dose of Minna time, and it means we're one day closer to a Manchester United match day, which, funnily enough, at this time, I am looking forward to. And of course, we are one day closer, less than, I would say, about 27 hours away from transfer deadline day. The deadline is nearly on us. Looking forward to it, man. Be sure to hit the like button, guys, and be sure to subscribe. Today I said it's Thursday. It's Thursday, but you know what it is? It's Ugarte. That is such a dad joke, but it is. It's Ugarte day. Is Emmanuel Ugarte has completed his medical at Manchester United. He's done all of that stuff, probably doing all his media duties, contract signed, announcement incoming, imminent, if you want to say. We just got to wait. We could have a double, by the way, announcement, because Sekou Kone as well is in Manchester to do his medical today, sign on the dotted line, finish off his contract and his media duty. I'm not going to lie, I don't expect a lot of media stuff from Sekou Kone, because one thing I know is that he does not speak English. He speaks French. And number one, and number two, obviously, he's joining as an academy player. So I don't think they're going to put a lot of media responsibilities on him. But I think they'll definitely announce, his arrival to the club. But I think everybody's waiting for the Emmanuel Ugarte news. I think everyone's waiting for the Emmanuel Ugarte news. But let me know how you lot are doing. Big up to everyone. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. If you are coming through over from United View, who have just wrapped up the full view, or I think they're wrapping it up, don't ask me why I was not on there, because I should have been on there, but I was late to get back because I was in the studio today filming match preview content with United View and Cop TV and all these other people. So make sure you lot check that out, because AGT, he tried to get onto me a little bit. So when the videos drop, I need you lot to go to the comments and get onto him in the comment section. But you guys know what it is. As always, we're here to talk all things Manchester United, and it's a transfer deadline week. There's always something to talk about. United is the gift that is always given. Jadon Sancho prefers a move to Chelsea rather than Juventus. I don't even know why. I just don't know from a footballing perspective. And Chelsea are looking at Jadon Sancho as a separate move to getting Raheem Sterling out, as is Manchester United. Manchester United reportedly have pitched the idea to Raheem Sterling of joining, whether it's on loan or on a transfer, letting him know about a wage cut and a reduced role, and reportedly he's interested in that. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about Ugarte. We're going to talk about Ugarte, of course, and what it could mean for Manchester United's midfield. And we're going to talk about other stuff related to Manchester United. So you don't know what it is. Be sure to hit the like button, guys. Be sure to subscribe. We're going to talk Champions League. That's what we're going to start with, by the way. We're going to start with Champions League because, yes, I know, before anybody says it, Man United are not in the Champions League. But the new format is really, really interesting. Let's start with it. This is the pot one. So the way that the new Champions League is that it's got these pots: pot 1, pot 2, pot 3, pot 4, and you play 2 people from each pot. So you play 8 games. But in those 8 games, you don't play them twice like normal, where you play home and away. You play one team home, one team away. It just depends on the way that they're drawn. So that means, guys, a lot of big teams play each other immediately. And this is very interesting. You look at Real Madrid, and the group that they have is really, really going to be a good one. Man City got a one. They got PSG, of course. They got Inter. They got Juve. Bayern Munich have a very interesting kind of pot or group, or whatever you want to draw, whatever you want to call it. And basically, the way that it works is you play each other 8 times, and the top 8, it's going to be like a league table, by the way, guys. And it's got 4 extra teams this year. And the top 8 will qualify to the round of 16 immediately. And between 9 to 25, I think it is, or 9 to 27, I can't remember exactly, 9 to something, they kind of play each other for a draw. And it's just a lot more games. So this is kind of interesting. Here's the second pot, where you kind of got Leverkusen, you got Atletico, Benfica, Arsenal, got PSG, Inter, Shakhtar, Atalanta, Dynamo, Sporting, if you lot remember what they did, Monaco, and Girona. So I think that's quite winnable for Arsenal. I think PSG will always be a test, of course, but that's it. The next pot, which is pot 3, which is like the I would say the lower potted team or the lower seeded teams, and that's where it's mad, bro. Sporting got Man City, Leipzig, and Arsenal, which is interesting. Feyenoord have Bayern Munich, Man City, Leverkusen, Benfica, and Salzburg. That's ridiculous. And someone just mentioned it about Aston Villa. Let's see who Aston Villa got. Aston Villa, bro. Aston Villa got Bayern Munich, Leipzig, Juve, Club Brugge, Celtic, Young Boys, Bologna, Monaco. They could probably win a couple of them games, guys. I'm not gonna lie, they could definitely kind of win a couple of them games. It's interesting the way that this seeding works, but I was just curious, innit? Obviously, Europa is tomorrow, so we'll see what happens for Manchester United. Big congratulations, guys, to Angel Gomez, who got his first ever call-up for England. That is a big achievement, guys. Even though it's for friendlies, that just shows when you bet on yourself and you leave and you go and get first-team football elsewhere, you'll eventually be appreciated. I'm not going to lie. If Southgate was the manager, I don't think he would have got a call-up, personally. There's quite a few, by the way, there's quite a few players from England's under-21 team that got call-ups, well-deserved as well. And for Angel Gomez, you know, it's well-deserved. We can't shy away from that. I had to mention him because that's my guy, man. I'm a big fan of him. Always been a big fan of him, and I really hope he continues to kind of do well in his career. But listen, guys, we are not that far away from seeing this. We are not that far away from seeing this midfield kind of I don't want to say take the Premier League by storm, but take the Premier League by storm. We are not that far away. Manuel Ugarte has done his medical, done his contract signing, all of that kind of stuff. All the formalities has been done. It's most likely media duties that are obviously incoming. That's what he's probably doing today. We could definitely get an announcement this evening. They might wait for an announcement tomorrow. I'm not sure, especially with transfer. Maybe they'll give us an announcement tomorrow because it's transfer deadline day. So people are going to be waiting for some sort of news. I'll be very shocked, I'm not going to lie, if we get the announcement today. But we did get the announcement for De Ligt and Mazraoui on like a random, what was it, Friday? Was it like a Friday night? I'm trying to remember. Was it a Monday night? I can't even remember. But I remember it was like a random time at like 8:20 p.m. that we got the news for De Ligt and Mazraoui. So we might even get the Ugarte news today. But Erik ten Hag gets some reinforcements in his midfield, and not reinforcements that he probably wanted. I will stand by this, guys. I will stand by it. I do not think Erik ten Hag wanted this guy here, Manuel Ugarte. I think he's probably watching the news kind of coming out today from Italy of Scott McTominay landing in Napoli. If you lot saw the video of the way that they were literally clearly football fans, by the way, can I say, will show love to everyone. Football fans will show love to everyone because the welcoming that Scott McTominay got when he landed at Naples airport, you would have thought it was Cristiano Ronaldo, or you would have thought it was Ronaldinho or Kaká or someone like that. Of course, big respect to the Napoli fans, because this is the thing. In Europe, guys, I don't know if it's not in England, but in Europe, it feels like the fans will ride out for you. And the second that you do something wrong, they will be the first to be waiting for you outside of the stadium after a game. And I think Scott McTominay will do well. Do I think Manuel Ugarte will do well? I'm hoping he does. I'm hoping he does. The only concern I have is similar what Adam says here. We need a progressive midfielder. I'm just worried about not really having controllers in the midfielder. We don't really have someone that can dictate from the middle of the park, or kind of keep the ball ticking, keep the ball rolling. Kind of, when, and I have to mention it because Bruno is on the screen, but when things get too erratic, we need someone to just calm the game down. And we don't really have that person to do that now. Obviously, I'm going to wait to give my judgment on Manuel Ugarte until I see him in a Manchester United shirt and I see in the manner in which he plays under Erik ten Hag. But it's very interesting. I actually think under Erik ten Hag, I think Ugarte is going to be that deeper midfielder. And I think Casemiro, when he does play, is going to be the more advanced midfielder in that midfielder. I think for the future of Manchester United, and definitely for this season, Man United need to look at moving Casemiro like away further in the pitch, if that makes sense. The further he is in Manchester United's starting 11 or in the midfield or whatever, the further he is, the bigger of a crisis it is for Manchester United, because we already know that the panic that comes of having him sometimes in front of that back line. Sorry, we've seen he can get you goals from set pieces. I don't know what it is, the leaping that he has, the ability he has to jump. Set pieces, he's getting on the end of headers. And it seems like, I'm not going to lie, I do think he's kind of decent on the ball passing, more advanced up the pitch. What scares me about Casemiro is him passing further back. That is what is scary. Now, Manuel Ugarte, I think, is going to come in with this destroyer role. I think his job is going to come in. He's going to come in and just disrupt the team, disrupt the team, the opponent. He's going to break them down, I'm hoping, and kind of recycle possession and kind of get the ball to Kobe, to Bruno, etc., to kind of take the ball forward. Now, will Manchester United go into the next window and sign a midfielder? I'm not too sure. Honestly, I'm not too sure, because Man United have spent quite a lot of money on just 3 midfielders. They've spent 42 million on Manuel Ugarte. They've spent nearly 70 on Cass. And then they've spent nearly 60 on Mason Mount, who we're going to speak about, because Manchester United today have announced that he's out for at least 4 to 5 weeks. So that's another midfield kind of player that Man United won't have. And I think I spoke about this a couple of days ago on the stream, where I spoke about kind of McTominay leaving, whether Man United could rely on Eriksen, Mason Mount, not really, you can't really rely on him to keep fit. And I actually feel bad for him. Let me actually bring him up on screen and we can kind of get to that conversation a lot more kind of sooner. I actually feel a little bit bad for Mason Mount, not because he's always injured or whatever. I feel bad for him because I genuinely think his body is breaking down on him and he does not see it. Do you guys remember Martial in Erik ten Hag's first season? And we were just saying, I hope he stays fit. I hope he stays. Martial, right in front of your eyes, his body was breaking down on him. And as a footballer, I can't imagine what it's like, right? Where you're asking your body to do something and it physically can't. As a human, guys, I know what it's like. But as a footballer, I cannot imagine what it's like. And we are seeing it right before our eyes. Mason Mount is another example, guys, can I say, of young players that kind of go so burst on the scene young and play a lot of football, and you get to 25, 26 and your body can't handle it anymore. And I don't know why it's like this with predominantly English players, United players. Rashford's having not an injury problem, but Rashford's just having a mentality issue. I don't know what his issue is. Mason Mount cannot be relied upon. And I'm not saying it in a disrespectful way or anything. I'm just saying it as like, we need to look at the reality here. Man United spent 50 million plus add-ons on a player who would have been available free this summer and has given us the best of 2 games this season. Even then, it wasn't much. Even then, I would say Erik ten Hag taking him off against Brighton is interesting, because I remember I was at the Community Shield and I saw Mason Mount go down and I just thought, I hope he ain't injured. And when you're in a situation like that, where every time a player kind of gets touched, a player kind of gets, something left on them and they go down, and you're thinking, I hope that player is not injured. That's when it's time to wrap that up, guys. That is the time to wrap it up. And Mason Mount, if United have kind of shortcomings in the midfield this season again, everyone's going to look at the Mason Mount signing and be like, why did Man United buy him? Because that's already now. We can't really... Eriksen is like, I have a question mark on Eriksen. Not about his fitness, because we do know that he's had time out, injured, etc., but not to this extent of Mason Mount. I'm just more concerned about Eriksen when it comes to his age, and, he's going to give you the best of 40, 50, 60 minutes. Outside of that, guys, Manchester United don't really have any more depth in midfield. Mason Mount, and let me read it to you guys here, the full kind of what's the word? The full consensus of Mason Mount. Mason Mount is set to be sidelined for 4 to 5 weeks with a hamstring injury. He was taken off against Brighton as a precaution after reporting an injury to Manchester United's medical staff. The club have now confirmed that he's ruled out of the game against Liverpool, and he is not expected to be available until a few weeks after the September international break. Now, he actually posted a message on his Instagram, because it seems like United fans lap this up. He posted this on Instagram, and it says, during the last game, I picked up a minor muscle issue. I've had it checked out, and it looks like I'll be out for a few games. Leading up to and during preseason, I worked hard to get my fitness back to where it needs to be, and I felt re-energized, sharp, and ready. I wanted you to hear it directly from me, how frustrated I am, as I expect you are too. I will do everything possible to be back in the best shape and help the team. This is a 60 million signing, 250k a week player that can give you 2 games in the opening part of the season before he's out for another month and a bit. Manchester United probably have to part ways with him next summer. I wouldn't be surprised if he's on the chopping block. Mount was a club signing thanks to Arnold, Murto, and Joel Glazer. The Three Stooges got played by Chelsea. And that's why I say, I'm against doing business with Chelsea. Like, I'm against doing business with Chelsea in any kind of capacity. Just because of this Mason Mount deal has me salty as hell. I'm looking at Man United's midfield now, guys, in this season. There's no guarantee now. By the way, I don't know if United are going to take this injury as a trigger to sign someone in the window, maybe on a loan, maybe a Rabiot. I'm not too sure. I don't know what it's going to trigger, because if you don't remember, the first season under Erik ten Hag, in that January window when Eriksen got injured, they went and signed Sabitzer on a 6-month loan on the last kind of transfer, on the last day of January transfer window. Could this be a kind of wake-up call for Manchester United to go out and sign another midfielder tomorrow? They've done the Ugarte business. Obviously, I think their priority is trying to find a new home for Jadon Sancho, potentially trying to shop around for Lindelof offers, see if Ajax could possibly take Christian Eriksen off your hands. But now that Mason Mount's out injured, and I'm sure the Man United medical staff know, Erik ten Hag definitely has to know now that Mason Mount has a injury problem. He has it. Let's call it what it is. It's a injury problem. Is it his fault? No. I think this is what happens when your body catches up with you after playing so much football from such a young age. But this is also a reason why Manchester United shouldn't have signed him, because the injury problems was there before he joined Manchester United. And that just shows you the shortcomings of the previous regimes. There's a lot of shortcomings, by the way, by the previous regime before Ineos came in. And I can't blame Ineos for Mount, but I have to, the number 7 marquee signings who have won the number 7 at United since CR7. Di Maria, 4 goals in 32 games. Sanchez, 5 goals in 45 games. Depay, 7 goals in 53 games. Probably combined, can I say, with this, that's what? 4 goals, 5 goals, that's 9 goals, 16 goals, 17 goals. 17 goals has been scored in the number 7 shirt since Cristiano Ronaldo left Manchester United. Yeah? By the way, this is when he left the first time, not the second time. And we're not going to count the goals that he scored when he came back. How many goals did Cristiano Ronaldo score in his time at Manchester United? In his second season. Let's say his second season. He probably outscored these lot. He probably... let me just... I really want to see Cristiano Ronaldo. I want to see his stats when he was in his first couple of years. Cavani, yeah. How did we forget Cavani? How can we forget Cavani? But marquee signings, I guess, is players that we bought for a big price. Cavani, I think we got on a free. If I'm not wrong, we got Cavani on a free. But let's see Cristiano Ronaldo, Manchester United. Let's see. Let's see how many goals he scored at Manchester United. Say in his debut year, I can't go off his debut year. Yeah, because his debut year, he scored 6 goals. The next season, he scored 9. In that season, guys, let's go season when we won the double. The season that we won the double, guys, he scored double the number of goals that they scored. The season that we won the double in all competitions, Even if we were to say just the Premier League, he scored 31 goals in the Prem. These lot combined got 16, 17 goals. That it puts it into perspective how that number 7 shirt is really, that is a really cursed, it's not a cursed shirt, can I say? Because we've had greats wear it. So we can't say it's cursed. What we can say though is that too many people who have not been worthy of it have been wearing it. It's not a cursed shirt. Man United need to put the jersey away until someone kind of proves that they deserve to wear it. What would we do? What do you guys think is the best kind of thing to do with Mason Mount? You know what? I saw a ridiculous thing today, guys. Liverpool third game of the season. Mason Mount out injured. Injury for a young player in the summer transfer window. In the summer in pre-season. And Højlund out for the first couple games of the season. That is similar to how United started last season. I don't like conspiracy. I love conspiracies. I was gonna say I don't like conspiracies. You don't know damn well I love talking about conspiracy theories. But this is why equally I think Manchester United will have to part ways with Mason Mount next season. It's inexcusable at this point. There is nothing wrong with saying we cannot maintain this at the club because your fitness is a problem or your ability to be available and be fit is an issue. There's, by the way, can I say, nothing wrong with that. It doesn't have to be kind of let him run his contract down. I don't know if they'll find suitors for him, but they have to definitely, if he cannot stay fit throughout the season. And I said this coming into the season, where a lot of people accuse me of just you lot accuse me, by the way, of defending so many people. 1 minute you lot say I'm defending Rashford, you say I'm defending Sancho, you say I'm defending Bruno. But I said this about Mason Mount coming into the season. I said that he needs to stay fit to prove himself. And it took 2 games for a muscle injury. He's finished. He is finished. His body is finished. His muscles are finished. He is just going to keep being a repeat offender when it comes to injuries. And it's not his fault. And that's where I kind of sympathize with him. But at the end of the day, it's not personal, it's business. It's really not personal, it's business. But he is a player that, you know, we could say United should have never signed. United should have never signed him. Another player that looks like Manchester United are finally going to part ways with, or maybe even not, is Jadon Sancho. Now, coming from Sky Sports earlier this afternoon was that there is a growing feeling in Juventus's camp that Jadon Sancho will end up at Chelsea. He wants to go Chelsea, apparently. It is his preference. He prefers to go to Chelsea, but Juve are the front runners. Manchester United are hoping to sell him on a permanent deal. Fabrizio also kind of posted about Jadon Sancho is that Chelsea are currently talking to Man United regarding Jadon Sancho and also talking to Napoli about Victor Osimhen. Both deals are being negotiated, it's in talks, and they see it both as separate deals. Jadon Sancho going to Chelsea will be the biggest what the F of the summer transfer window. Now, I don't think Man United fans really care where he goes. I think as long as he's sold and he leaves, I think that's what a lot of fans just want. I can't make sense of why he would go to Chelsea for footballing purposes. I can think of other reasons that he could go to be closer to home. He could go closer to home. He's more likely to be able to dunk on Manchester United if he's at Chelsea, you know, because they're going to play each other twice in the season, maybe even more if they come up against each other in the FA Cup, etc. And obviously, it's home. London is his home. So I can understand those sentiments. But other than that, I look at what the manager is saying in the media, right? About the kind of wingers he likes. That's not Sancho. He spoke about Noni Madueke, about how he's a winger that he likes and he likes them kind of wingers. That's not Jadon Sancho. You want to play on the left wing. You've been dying to play on the left wing. You're going up against Pedro Neto and Nkunku. So much depth, Madueke, etc. It just doesn't make sense to me for him to go to Chelsea. Like I said, there's only a few reasons why I can make sense of it. And I think what Manchester United probably want to do is get their house in order for FFP. If they can sell Jadon Sancho for 35, 40 million to Chelsea, not only do they make a profit on his amortization for the financial year, but they also can get his wages off the book, which will, in the financial year, make a big difference. It will make a huge. How much is 250? I can't do maths like that off the top of my head, but 250 a week is about 13 million. That's about 13 million. So if they could get 13 million off the books, plus make a profit on his amortization, I don't think Man United care where he goes. I don't think so. I think Man United are happy to do business with Chelsea. I think it's just what is financially beneficial to them. And I will be so honest, guys. If Jadon Sancho leaves, he's probably had one of the most underwhelming careers at Manchester United of the big names that we signed. I'm not even gonna say he wasn't as big of a name as Di Maria or Paul Pogba, etc. But the expectations when we signed Jadon Sancho was really up there. And we're gonna look back on this 5-10 years from now and just be like, that he didn't even leave a little mark. For me, anyways. I'm speaking for myself here. He didn't leave a little mark for me to remember him by. I'll probably remember Jadon Sancho for the goal he scored against Liverpool in Ten Hag's first season. I think that's really the only thing that I'll remember him for. And in terms of football, things on the pitch, I won't really remember him for anything else. And that is really sad. That is really sad because United spent a whole season. They spent a whole summer negotiating with Dortmund. Yeah. And then brought him the year after because obviously we had Dumb and Dumber kind of doing the negotiations, so they couldn't get the deal done. But eventually they got him and kind of changed the whole trajectory of where the club was going in terms of the first team because we signed Ronaldo that window. But the expectations, guys, was this high, bro. I saw this picture the other day. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see, bro. Oh my God, this picture makes me so upset when I actually see it. This picture makes me so upset because this is the day I thought we are back. This is the day I thought Manchester United is back on the big stage. Remember that Ronaldo debut? Pogba had how many assists? Jadon Sancho got some playing time. Bruno got... This picture, when I seen this the other day, I just thought, what did you lot think in that moment? What did you lot think in that moment? I'm pretty sure in that moment, a lot of you guys thought United are... We're back. We're back. With his laziness, he can't survive Juventus from what Evra says today on the overlap. I don't think Juve will work for him. I don't know if you lot watched it. Let me know. We could do like a... Oh, shit, man. They're going to do me for copyright. I was going to say we could do like a live kind of reaction where we watch it. Because I've watched it already. And it's true. You know what I thought about when I was watching the... Let me see if I can bring it up here on here. I don't know if any of you lot have watched it, but Evra was on the overlap today with Wayne Rooney, with Gary Neville, etc. And he said some he said quite a lot of interesting stuff, honestly. Firstly, Evra is a proper personality in it. He's a good storyteller. But there's so much things that I think when I watched it that made me think there's no players like this anymore for Manchester United. Like, just his mentality, just talking about his mentality, there is nothing there. The players like this don't exist for United anymore, guys. He said he fly kicked. Sorry, guys, this is a bit off topic. We'll get back to Jadon Sancho, but he said that he fly kicked Gary Neville in the chest in training. Yeah, basically drop kicked him because Gary Neville kind of two-footed him during a training. And he said that during training, Sir Alex Ferguson and Carlos, the assistant coach, etc., used to come to them and tell them, guys, take it easy, because they used to kill each other in training because they used to take training that seriously. And then there was something that he said that there's quite a few stuff he said, because he spoke about Pogba. He kind of spoke about how when Sir Alex Ferguson left And David Moyes came in. He said David Moyes was trying to replace me with Leighton Baines. He was like, I was the captain, etc., etc. And he basically said, no, like, offense to Sir Alex Ferguson, but you don't play for the manager, you play for the badge. So he was like, when he was captain, that's what he was trying to tell players in the dressing room. And he was like, there were some players, a lot of players there that weren't really buying into David Moyes, etc., etc. He didn't say anyone. He said he ain't gonna throw anyone under the bus. But what he said was 100% facts, and I agree with this sentiment. You don't play for the manager. Like, playing for the managers is all good and well, and that's why when Eric Ten Hag, it was reported that he was losing the dressing room, but some players were still fighting for him, etc. I was like, I don't care about what, like, players fighting for the manager. You play for the badge, you play for the club, because one day that manager's gone. What are you gonna do? And Patrice Evra kind of touched on it. He said that one day he was in the where the medical team is, and he was getting like a massage or something, and he was like, Gary Neville, he said it was a couple of days before a match, a few days before a game, and the manager and the assistant coach has said to him, listen, you're not going to train today because you're going to play on the weekend, so just sit today's training session out. So he said, okay, cool. So he was just getting some like leg massages, etc. And he said he saw Gary Neville walk past him with his foot bandaged up on his way to the training pitch. He said after that, Paul Scholes walks past him limping, yeah, he's on his way to the training pitch to go take part in the training session. He said Ryan Giggs walks past him and he had back problems, and he used to do a lot of like yoga and stretching and that. And he said he's holding his back, getting his back strapped, and he's on his way to go to a training session. He was like, I got off the medical table and I strapped up my foot. And he was like, I went on to get involved in the training session, because he was like, all these guys are literally running their body into the ground. Why am I sitting it out? Why am I sitting the training session out just so that I can play? But there were so many things kind of Patrice Evra says, and it makes you look at this kind of United team now and think, yo, we don't have players like this anymore. They're the last of a dying breed, if you want to say it like that. Because he even joked about Gabriel Haynes being in the team when he kind of came in. He kind of joked about how it took him a bit of time to kind of get settled in, and about he said he used to go up to Sir Alex Ferguson when the manager might tell him he's not playing on the weekend. He'd go up to him the day before and tell him, I'm playing tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, I'm starting. And the manager will put him in the side lineup. Honestly, he's a personality. Patrice Evra is a proper personality. But it makes me look at all these other players now, and especially, like I said, this moment here, when Jadon Sancho joined Manchester United, we really thought this was it. It was it. Manchester United have finally got some key pieces that they needed. They got, Cristiano Ronaldo, this mentality monster. I would say probably no one in the team had the mentality that Cristiano Ronaldo did. And he kind of spoke about it in his interview. Obviously, he was exiled out of the club, but he spoke about it, how people didn't really want to listen to him. People were there to enjoy and have fun. And I just think this Jadon Sancho signing, it's no kind of beef with him. It's no qualms with him, but he will leave Manchester United this season, probably tomorrow. And nobody will kind of have a memory of him that you think, yeah, Jadon Sancho, like, it was right player, wrong time kind of situation. And I don't think it was right player, wrong time. I don't even know till today why Man United signed him, because what Man United have wanted in a winger, Jadon Sancho was the complete opposite. He was the complete opposite. But obviously time doesn't allow you to predict what's gonna happen. So we're gonna keep an eye on this. If he goes to Chelsea, as someone that wants him to do well, it'll be shocking. But someone mentioned it in the chat. Juventus might not be a situation that he might be able to handle. Thiago Motta is not effing about. Some additional information, can I say, on this kind of Sancho and Sterling thing. It's confirmed that it's two kind of different deals. It's two different deals. We've been thinking, is it a loan deal? Is it a swap? What is it? It's two different deals. Manchester United are looking to offload Jadon Sancho separately to them looking at bringing Raheem Sterling in through the door. Now, let's put it into context, guys. Liverpool have just announced today the signing of Chiesa, right? 10 million. 10 million. I don't know why Man United were not all over that. I'm not going to lie. I don't know why Manchester United were not all over that for that price as well. For 10 million, very, very, that's a with Chiesa, if he does very good for Liverpool, everyone's going to say he's the bargain of the summer. If he doesn't do that well, nobody's going to criticize him like a 40, 50, 60 million signing, because 10 million pounds is not, it's a lot of money, obviously, but in football transfer, it's not much, especially not in recent times when you've got teams spending nearly $1 billion in 2 years. Raheem Sterling is where I have the question mark. Is honestly where I have the question mark. And to me, this Raheem Sterling deal, I truly believe is the kind of signing that Manchester United will only do if they get the better end of the stick. If they get the better end of the stick, they will do it. Now, reportedly, Manchester United have discussed the possibility of a loan deal for Raheem Sterling, but have kind of been firm on their stance about paying his wages. They don't want to pay much of his wages. Brother is on 300k plus. 300k plus. They don't want to pay much of that. Now, this is why it's very important, can I say, for Man United to get players off the books and free up wage spaces. They've saved a lot of wages getting Varane and Martial off. Equally, getting other players off that they've signed, like Donny van der Beek, etc. Victor Lindelof is still on the chopping block. Eriksen is still on the Eriksen is still on the chopping block. And Jadon Sancho. With all those wages that they can save there, why would you then agree on a loan deal to pay a significant amount of wages for a player that's on quite a lot of money? It just, to me, that doesn't make sense. Manchester United are still kind of mulling over the idea of a deadline day move for him. But I do think this talk will be, I think it will be hot topics. I think it'll be hot topics tomorrow. Coming from Dean Jones, shout out to Dean. Manchester United are willing to hand Raheem Sterling up to 150k a week if he is prepared to make the switch to Old Trafford and happy to settle for being a squad player, which is kind of what I spoke about in terms of what would it take for me to be on board with Manchester United signing Raheem Sterling. And I've made it clear, significantly lower wages, and he's happy with being a role player. Because the last thing Man United want, and whether it's Erik ten Hag or whether it's Dan Ashworth, etc., you don't want any disruptions in a dressing room that has already in the past been kind of disrupted. Bruno Fernandes's agent has spent the last 2 months leading up to kind of pre-season shipping his player out to other clubs because he felt like his player should have been one of the higher earners in the team. The wage structure at Manchester United causes issues because now players will feel like I am entitled to a lot of money because I've done X, Y, Z. You look at Liverpool, for example, and we're playing them on the weekend. You look at Liverpool, it took FSG and John Henry and all of them guys a lot to give Mohamed Salah, 300k plus. It took them a lot. They were on the verge of losing him. He was literally probably going to leave. And it took them so much. Why? Because they did not want to disrupt the wage structure that they've got in place at Liverpool. You look at a place like Juve right now that Jadon Sancho is linked to. And obviously, Italy is different to England. Their highest earner there is Vlahovic in like 300 and something K. After that, everyone's on 180 less. Everyone else is on 180 less. At Manchester United, how many players earn 200k or more? At least 7-8 players. How many of them earn 250 more? At least 6-5 of them players. How many people earn 300k more? It's ridiculous. Man United's wage structure is ridiculous. And if they do get Raheem Sterling, and hypothetically speaking, he resolves his issue with his club, because he's owed apparently 70 million pounds. Apparently he's owed, like, obviously 325k across 3 years can add up to that. If he resolves that issue with the club and Chelsea pay him out, I will be so shocked. I will be so at that point, I will think that Chelsea's owners and structure, etc., are possibly the worst thing that exists in English football, because there's no way they would want a player out of their club and then pay them 70 million to leave and then get a crap fee or a low fee for them. It just, to me, that is shocking. As I mentioned as well, Manchester United have made it clear to Raheem Sterling's team and his camp that he would be capped wage-wise and playing-wise. And reportedly, Raheem Sterling has agreed to this in principle. That's coming from Graham Bailey. Of course, I think Raheem Sterling will take anybody that comes for him from a top 8 team in the Premier League. He probably just wants to stay in the Premier League. He doesn't want to disrupt his family. He doesn't want to have them moving up and down the country, sending them to Newcastle or Birmingham or one of them places. Manchester is where he wants called home. Liverpool is where he wants called home. Living in Cheshire, it's not difficult. He probably still got a property there. He can just ship his family back up north. Of course, he's going to agree to the deal in principle. Also, the idea of Raheem Sterling is that he offers you depth in the front line. He can he offers you depth if Marcus Rashford's struggling. He offers you depth through the middle, and we know what he can do to opponents dribbling wise. The back line, getting penalties, winning penalties, all of that kind of stuff. We know what he can do. So I understand why Man United are kind of shipping around for the idea of him. Sterling can play left wing, right wing, can score with left or right foot. He can score from free kicks. He's direct. He wins a lot of penalties and free kicks, 100%. Aston Villa would suit Sterling, in my opinion, especially when they just lost Diaby. Especially losing Diaby, I think Aston Villa would have made sense. I think even Newcastle would have made sense for me had they lost Anthony Gordon. But funnily enough, look at Newcastle. They're about to walk away from the Mark Gahey bid. And this is what makes me laugh in it, because when Dan Ashworth was linked to joining Manchester United, a lot of Newcastle fans, they were spewing so much stuff online saying, you want him, pay up, pay up. When he eventually left and obviously Newcastle settled with Man United, they were adamant that he did nothing for them. Newcastle fans were adamant that Dan Ashworth was having him and not having him was no different. Now look at their window. I don't think they've signed really anybody. I think they've signed one person. I don't even know. Have Newcastle actually signed anyone? I'm not too sure. Let me double check. I don't think they've signed anyone. Let's see. Oh, they've signed a few people. But they've had a lot of people leaving. They've had a lot of... I can't believe they sold Anderson for like 30-something million. Do you think Sancho would suit City? Good question. I don't think so. And the reason why... I have two reasons why I'm saying this. I would say, one, had he suited City, his pathway to the first team wouldn't have turned out the way that it did. Like, there would have been a plan for him, the way that there's been a plan for Oscar Bob, the way there's been a plan for Rico Lewis, the way that there's been a plan for Phil Foden. Obviously, there was a plan for Cole Palmer, but it just wasn't guaranteed game time. Manchester City let go of Jadon Sancho for many reasons. For what reasons, we will never kind of be privy to know, whether it was like disciplinary issues or all of that stuff. But one thing I can say is that Man City would have made it work if he was the kind of player that they wanted. You look at the kind of wingers that Pep seems to like. The Sanes, the Sterlings, the Sabios, the Mahrez, all of them guys. You look at them. You look at Jack Grealish now. Jack Grealish is a shadow of himself of what he was at Aston Villa. Because these are players, wingers, that traditionally, Doku, etc., fast, can get past a man, can take on a man, can cut in. Riyad Mahrez had a wand of a left foot when he was cutting in on that left foot. I look at Jadon Sancho and try and place him into the City team, and I just don't know how he helps or works in that team. And it's no kind of... it's not like a negative thing for him. It's not any insult to him. But had he been the kind of player that Man City wanted and he would suit them, they would have kept him, and they would have kind of weaved out the any disciplinary issues they might have had, any behavior, character issues that they had. They would have not... I don't want to say beat it out of him, but they would have got it out of him. They would have disciplined him and got it out of him, because they would have seen him as an integral part of their system, or he could play in their system. But they shipped him when they could, and I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but I look at a lot of teams in kind of football now, and I think, where does Sancho? What team do you think Sancho even suits? What kind of team? Because when I think of Jadon Sancho, I think about teams that predominantly play against low blocks, teams that predominantly like possession or have possession. I think of teams that like the passing and movement of players. That's what I think of Jadon Sancho. When I think of Jadon Sancho, and correct me guys if I'm wrong, I don't think of a pacey winger that's gonna burst down the touchline, beat a man physically with his feet as well, and do what, I don't know. I look at City wingers and what Mahrez used to do, what Sane used to do, what Raheem Sterling used to do. I don't think he'll do that. Berardi was at City. He knows why they let Sancho go. That's another correlating factor. You're looking at this now. Clearly, Umar Berardi got history with Jadon Sancho from his time there. Also, can I say, Dan Ashworth will have a history with Jadon Sancho because Dan Ashworth was responsible for the English FA and the England team, kind of the restructuring of the England team under Southgate in the first couple of years. He was responsible for that. So he will definitely be privy to knowing about what Jadon Sancho was like at England camp. Umar Berardi will know what he was like in Man City before he obviously went off to Borussia Dortmund. And it's kind of not, it's not a small world. People like the director of recruitment, man. What's his name, guys? You don't know who I'm talking about. The director of recruitment. He was operating in Leipzig. He was operating in Salzburg. He was operating in similar waters that Dortmund would have been in. It's not the football world. I can imagine. I can imagine the football world is small. Everyone knows each other. So I kind of think of why Christian Vivel. There you go. Thank you, elite baller. Yeah, Christian Vivel. He would have known about Sancho from his time at Dortmund. Because what was his job? His job was to just not spy on people, but recruit. He was head of recruitment, so he would have been knowing about people in other teams in the German league. Then you got like Umar Berardi, who would have known about him at City, and you got Dan Ashworth, who would have known about Sancho when he was reporting for duty at England at St. George's. He would have known all of that. So there's a lot of kind of correlating pieces to the Sancho situation at United. I don't think, I've said this time again, Erik ten Hag does not have enough power to get a player out the door. And I'm going to reiterate that again. If Man United want to sell a player today, if they decide to sell Anthony, and that is Erik ten Hag's son, yeah, as far as I'm concerned, they will sell him. Erik ten Hag does not have that much control, in my opinion. Why? Because the Scott McTominay transfer has further confirmed it to me. Erik ten Hag wanted to keep Scott McTominay. Erik ten Hag was not keen on Ugarte. Ineos has told Erik ten Hag, basically through this transfer of Ugarte coming in and Scott McTominay leaving, they've told Erik ten Hag, this is not your project. This is a football project that we are building, and you just happen to be the face of it for the next 2 years. And it's humbling. It's definitely humbling. So Jadon Sancho leaving Manchester United, for me, I don't think it's because of what's happened solely between him and Erik ten Hag. I don't think it's solely because of that. I think it's taken into consideration that, plus the fact that he's been here for 4 years. It's very clear that there's a breakdown in relationship between him and the manager. And once there is a breakdown in him and in the manager and the player, is always best interest to let the player go. And when I think of like situations like that, I think of Man United under Sir Alex Ferguson. When there was a breakdown in relationship, what did Sir Alex Ferguson used to do? Ship the player out. Ruud van Nistelrooy, iconically, probably one of the biggest names. Roy Keane said it, by the way, on the overlap, that he still, till this day, does not speak to Sir Alex Ferguson, and he would never speak to him. He would never speak to him. And that's the thing. When it could get to that, when situations get to that, your best bet is to sell the player, can I say? Some people tend to think, oh, you're better off getting rid of the manager. It's not as easy as that. It's not always as easy as that. What makes you think Ugarte is not an Erik ten Hag player? I'm just going off of reports, can I say, when I said that. There was reports coming from multiple journalists that suggested that Ugarte was not a player that Erik ten Hag wanted, and he didn't want him at the expense of Scott McTominay leaving, but we all know that it was kind of both linked. We know it's kind of both linked in terms of one coming in and the other one coming out. If that does that even make sense? One coming in, one coming out, whatever. You don't know what I mean. Can we move on from Sancho, please? Obviously, he's leaving. Can we talk about tactical dilemma or whether Ten Hag can pull it up? We can wrap the stream up with that. We can wrap the stream up with that. Here we got on the screen, obviously, Erik Ten Hag and Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Now, for me, going in, obviously tomorrow we got streams tomorrow. As always, we're gonna have daily dose of Mina tomorrow in the afternoon. I think maybe at 3 p.m. And then we will have another episode of the Lowdown. This time, I'm joined by a Liverpool fan, a content creator, where we're gonna preview the game as well. So I'm gonna save a lot of the preview stuff for tomorrow's stream. But I just want to say this, and I don't know if everybody agrees with me, right? Erik Ten Hag has all the pieces now to succeed, to build something, to build a legacy. I'm going to say the term legacy because that's a big word, right? He has all the pieces now to show us that last season was a one-off, and when everybody's fit and everybody's available and you are backed financially in the window and you have the hierarchy in place above you, that you can succeed. Erik Ten Hag, for me, there is no excuse. I'm going to keep it dead honest. If United finish out of the top 4, there is no excuse. And I'm not listening to any excuse. If Marcus Rashford continues to kind of go on this downfall, if he does not get benched, I'm putting it on Erik Ten Hag. I'm putting it on Erik Ten Hag if he does not get benched. If players are clearly performing well and don't get opportunities to start regularly when other players are performing badly and they can continue getting blessed with starts, I'm blaming Erik Ten Hag. And nobody can come to me today, like on the stream, and say, stop blaming Erik Ten Hag. Erik Ten Hag has spent 600 million plus in 3 summer windows. Can I say actually in three summer windows, because he didn't really spend anything in the January windows. He didn't spend anything in the January windows. So really, 3 windows, summers in a row, he's been backed. Now, I'm going to look at signings like Anthony, etc. And I'm going to be like, you fucked up there. Excuse my language, but you messed up there. I'm going to look at signings like Mason Mount and be like, you lot effed up there. Casemiro, short-term pain, kind of answering the problem short-term. But this window in particular, Erik Ten Hag has been given, I feel, assets to further his success or improve on his success at Manchester United. You wanted 3 defenders. You got 3 defenders. United struggled defensively last season. So what did Ineos do? They brought 3 defenders. They brought in 2 centre-backs and a right-back. 2 of those players are your former players that you wanted. One of them was your captain. You wanted him. Ugarte, okay, cool. Even whether he's Erik Ten Hag's guy or not, yeah? Manchester United spent a long time chasing him in the window and getting that deal done. And he is obviously going to be a breath of fresh air for Manchester United's midfield. Joshua Zirkzee, now United took a risk signing a player like Joshua Zirkzee. The same way they took a risk signing Højlund. I think Højlund obviously was a bigger risk because he was more expensive and he obviously scored less goals than Zirkzee did in his time at Atalanta. But now you have quality in depth that you've been asking for, to an extent. I'm not saying that Man United need to go out and win the league. And I'm not saying Manchester United need to go out and do the treble or something, or do the domestic treble or whatever. I'm just saying that there needs to be a clear improvement on last season. And I don't want to watch games, can I say? I don't want to watch games this season and strain my eyes trying to figure out what the hell Manchester United are trying to do. I want to watch a game and be like, I can clearly see tactically what is happening. I can see that like a breath of fresh air. I also want Manchester United, and maybe I'm asking for too much, guys. Let me know if I'm asking for too much. I want Man United to stop treating themselves as underdogs going into games. Why are we going into games against mid-table teams, etc., and thinking, rah, we might draw, we might lose? I need that mentality out of the window. And maybe I watched too much of the overlap today, because watching Patrice Evra was nice to see what mentality is for Manchester United, and Wayne Rooney and Gary Neville, Roy Keane, all on the video as well. But Man United need to stop being respectful to opponents. Like I filmed you'll see it, guys. I filmed a preview with AGT. Shout out to AGT on United View for the Liverpool game, and then we filmed one on his channel afterwards. And I was saying that United need to stop being kind of respectful to other teams and kind of being like, oh, you know what, we might get rolled. I'm seeing people say, listen, Liverpool at Old Trafford, I'm always going to say United are going to win. I will always say that. Why are we being so respectful? And maybe it's because being people are saying, oh, but we're being realistic. It's not about being realistic. For so long, United have been acting like we have been, how do you say miskin in English? These fragile kind of people. We've been these, you know, underdogs. We're not underdogs, guys. And that's what I need people to understand with this season going into games against top six, etc. We can't be the underdogs. We can't treat ourselves like the underdogs and then praise ourselves for getting a draw, getting a point. We have to win. And Man United need to improve their record away from home. Man United's record away from home under Erik ten Hag is pants. So that's 3 things I will say that I need to see from Erik ten Hag this season. I'm not asking Erik ten Hag to go win the league. I'm not asking him to go and win the treble. I'm not asking him to do any of that. I'm not asking him to do any of that. All I'm asking is for simply better football and better results. Is that too much? We have to win, whether it's likely or not. We must win 100%. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm asking for too much. I think the biggest thing for me is I would like to come and do tactical breakdowns of the game where I'm highlighting positives. The last video I did after the Brighton game, I was highlighting negatives, but I was also highlighting positives. But I want to come and do videos and that kind of content. I enjoy that. I want to do breakdowns of clear identity and style of football because that's what we've been screaming about all of last season, right? Since Erik ten Hag has arrived, we've been screaming about identity. We've been screaming about tactical decisions. We've been screaming about style of play. You know, those key words that we all probably hate so much. That's what we've been talking about. So for me, that is where I stand with Erik ten Hag. And I made my predictions before the season started a couple weeks ago. I said Man United have to finish 3rd. I think saying top 4 isn't enough. United need to be 3rd. But obviously Europa League would be nice and a good run in our domestic cups, right? But the biggest thing for me in the Premier League is getting 3 points against the top 6 because that's the only way United will get to 3rd. Is taking 3 points off of the lower teams, guaranteed every time, and then taking 3 points against the Spurs, against the Arsenal, against Liverpool, against City. United have to try and get 3 points against that. And that's for me the biggest kind of way for me to judge whether it's going to be a good season or not. But you don't know what it is. Listen, guys, how many likes we on? How many likes? We're on 85 likes. If you have not liked the video, guys, please do like the video. I know it's a bit later today. Daily Dose of Minna is normally at 4:30 UK time. But like I said, I had to go and film some content for United View, etc. When that drops, make sure you lot go and watch it, yeah? And bombard AGT in the comments and say you're here to watch Minna. You're not here to watch AGT. But make sure you lot, like I said, hit the like button. Let's get to 100 likes by the end of the stream. We're actually already at the end of the stream. No Ugarte announcement. But you know what I feel like is going to happen, guys? I'm not being funny. But I feel like I'm going to hit end stream and we're going to get an announcement. Like, I just feel like that's my luck. I feel like that's just the luck that I have. Whenever I do streams, as soon as I end it, bam, we get an announcement. It looks like we've had no Ugarte announcement. It doesn't look like we might be getting an Ugarte announcement anytime soon. Yeah, nah, it doesn't look like it'll be happening. So you guys know what it is. Listen, be sure to hit the like. Oh, I'm such an idiot. Why am I? What is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? But you don't know what it is. Listen, be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow. Daily Dose of Minute, as always. I think it's at 2:30. I think it's 2:30 on Fridays. And then we've got a episode of The Lowdown. Like I said, a preview for the Liverpool game. We're going to be talking all things Liverpool. Be nice to my guest, guys. Yeah, be nice. He's a newbie to streaming, but he's a content creator, a very good one as well. So be respectful to him. And he's got good ball knowledge. I'm not gonna lie, good ball knowledge. So we got that 10 a.m. on Saturday. Me and Marcel are gonna chop it up because Marcel likes to do streams early in the morning. So we're gonna do that. And then obviously Sunday we are off to Old Trafford to watch the game. You don't know what it is, man. If we got any news, you know the disclaimer by now. If we have any news between now and tomorrow's stream, I will be live. But if not, I will catch you lot all tomorrow. I hope you have a wonderful Thursday evening. And it's literally what, 27 hours to go until the ding 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 transfer deadline is over, and I'm gonna have to find some new stuff to talk about on Daily Dose of Minaman. You don't know what it is. Hit the like button on your way out. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I'll be back tomorrow, guys. Peace.